Welcome, everybody. Wonderful to see you all. Thank you for joining us for this beautiful, hopefully beautiful moment of harvest and renewal and resilience. We always start with a little music as people are filtering in. So we're going to play a song my brother Mark Simos actually wrote about permaculture. We invite you to
Ready?
camera on and dance along. Whoops.
Everything's connected to everything, darling. Everything's connected to everything, everything else, everything else. Every plant in the garden has more than one purpose. It exists for itself, yet it longs to be of service. And every gift is offered to all that wants, and every need is satisfied by several plants. All life is entangled in a beautiful loop. Everything is nutrient, and everything is food. Oh, everything's connected to everything. Oh, everything's connected to everything. Everything's connected to everything. Oh, everything else. I said everything's connected to everything. Oh, everything's connected to everything, darling. Everything's connected to everything. Oh, everything else. Oh, everything else. Oh, everything else. Everything else. Everything else. Everything else. It's all connected. Everything else. It's all connected. It's all, yeah, everything's connected. Everything else. Oh, everything's connected to everything. Everything's connected. Everything's connected. Everything else.
So welcome everybody to our Earth Activist Training Harvest Ritual, Seeds of Hope and Renewal. When we were planning this months ago, we were thinking about what to focus on, and I don't know about you, I've been rather fixated on the elections we just had in the United States, and with a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear. It was a little bit challenging to figure out how to plan for something post-election without knowing how the elections were going to turn out. But I figured however they turned out, we were going to need some hope and some renewal. So I am feeling grateful they turned out as well as they did. I'm grateful for all the work people have done around that. And to me, I think what really gives me an ongoing sense of hope and replenishes my energy is knowing I'm really part of a global team of people who are committed to healing and regenerating the land and creating communities of equity and justice. So I welcome you all here. I'm Starhawk. I'd like to introduce Charles Williams to say a couple words, who is our co-director of Earth Activist Training and lead co-teacher.
Hello, everybody. My name is Charles. I'm with Earth Activist Training. Many of you I recognize, so hello, welcome back. It's good to see you. I'm really excited about this because I feel like there's been a lot of like fear and worry, and I hold a lot of hope. So I'm excited about sharing some of that hope and the hope of our community tonight.
Thank you. And I want to introduce Sunshine Claymore, who is the director of our regenerative land management program. She's one of our star students, and she is doing amazing work at her community, the Standing Rock Reserve in North Dakota. And she's going to begin with a land acknowledgement for us.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. I've been a part of the Earth Activist family for over 5 years now, and I have seen many evolutions of it, and I'm glad that we're continuing in these circles. I'd like to acknowledge that I'm here and on our homelands in the Oceti-Sakowin Nation. That's the 7 bands of the Dakota, Lakota, and Nakota people. Our territory ranges from Canada down to Nebraska and beyond. We're here in the Dakotas, and this is also the territory of the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara, who lived with the land and closer along the river, more sedentary lifestyles of agriculture. So we've adapted some of their practices through trade in this important node of exchange between cultures where we are along the Missouri River. In our effort to acknowledge land, we look for action in ways that we can do that from our own community, is learning more about the indigenous people whose land we reside on, and also through that process asking or researching what efforts they're making to protect their sacred spaces. I'm sure it's happening regardless of where you are in the world to some extent. And in that, we can use our privilege to help shift policy and practices into more ethical and just for all of our nations. And so it's a privilege to open our circle with acknowledging our ancestors and our future descendants in living and non-living. Mitakuye Oyasin.
Thank you, Sunshine. And we encourage you all to put into the chat the names of the indigenous people of the land that you're on as a way of honoring them and honoring the complex history of the land so many of us are on, at least here in North America, where there's both this tremendous heritage of incredible traditional ecological knowledge and the heritage of colonization and settlement, and the heritage of the stolen lands and also the stolen peoples and the stolen labor that we need to acknowledge if we're going to move on from that, but also the heritage of a constant movement and struggle for justice and movement toward a world of greater equity and greater compassion. So I'm on the land of the Kashaya Pomo here. And if you don't know the name of the indigenous people of your land, it's a good thing to research and find out. We're gonna do this hour together kind of like a ritual. And when we do a ritual, we always like to start with a grounding, a way of connecting our energy to the energy of the earth. So I encourage you all to take a deep breath, settle yourself, get comfortable, whether you're sitting or standing, maybe stretch a little bit. You can close your eyes if you want to. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel the weight of your body as it settles, the gravity of the earth pulling you close. I like to think of gravity as the earth's weight of saying, I love you, don't leave me. As you take a deep breath into your belly, imagine you have roots that push down into the earth, down through the ground, down through the rock, down through the soil, down through the little pockets of water that are held in the earth, down through the bedrock, all the way down. Imagine they can go all the way down to that core of fire at the heart of the earth, that mantle that's still hot from when the earth first formed. A reservoir of incredible energy. And as you take a breath, if there's anything you want to release or let go of, just take a breath now and just let it go down into that fire. You can shake it out. Maybe take another breath and really use your body and use some sound and just and one more breath. And now imagine those magic roots in that fire transforming any of those feelings of anger or worry or anxiety into pure living energy. And take a breath and just draw a little bit of that energy up. Draw it up through all those layers of rock and those pockets of water, through the gravels, through the subsoil, through the topsoil. Draw it up through your roots into your feet and legs. Draw it up into the base of your spine and feel your spine start to grow and stretch like a beautiful young sapling, like a tree trunk that's flexible and can bend with the wind. Take a breath, draw it up into your heart and just give your heart a little bit of an energy bath this morning. Our hearts have been through a lot over the last few years, and there's probably still a lot to come. So breathing in and breathing out. Breathe that energy up and out through the top of your head like branches and feel them reach up to the sky and sweep back down and touch the earth again. And now feel that sky energy. Where I am today, there's some beautiful sunshine. Where you are, I don't know, it might be foggy or rainy or cold. It might be even nighttime, moonlight, starlight. Take a deep breath and draw some of that sky energy in. Draw it in, draw it down. Let yourself feed on it. Let it nourish you. Draw it down through your heart, your hands, down through your legs and feet into the earth. And as you feel that energy flowing up and flowing down, just for a moment, let yourself kind of rest in that circuit of energy, feeling yourself as a channel between earth and sky. And breathing in and breathing out. Let's take a breath now and bring ourselves into our physical senses, noticing how your body feels and how it's dancing with gravity. Taking a deep sniff in, noticing what you smell, and what you taste. Opening your ears and noticing what you hear. Opening your eyes and noticing what you see. And welcome, and blessed be. And Charles, will you create our circle and call up the elements for us this morning?
Yeah, I'd love to. I want to invite everybody to join in creating our circle, our space today. And the way I'd like to do it is, have you ever blown bubbles like as a kid? You blown those soap bubbles that you blow out and bigger. Well, I'd like us to start where we are. And just take a moment and breathe into the bubble that is ourselves and see if you can blow that out a little bit. And let it get a little bigger. Because no matter where we are in the world, we're all close to somebody on this call. Like there's somebody maybe feet away, maybe they're miles away. Somewhere you can blow that bubble out. Like any soap bubble, as soon as it touches another bubble, it makes a larger bubble. Let's just breathe those out and see if you can feel when it touches that next bubble, wherever it is. Let's see if we can create one big bubble together for today. Just blow it out. Let them pop together. And into this shining, shimmering space, I invite us to call in the elements. My tradition, we start in the east, which we see as air. We invite air to come in. And will you help me do that? Invite air in, maybe with a deep breath. The east, where new beginnings, the day dawns. Each breath, a new chance to live. And as we breathe in, feel our connection to the green world that breathes as we breathe, and all the other creatures. To new beginnings, to connection and communication, I say welcome air, welcome east. And to the south, area of fire, for us in the northern hemisphere where the sun is the highest in the sky. I invite that fire in, that fire of creativity and excitement, of passion and joy. Think what is that's inspired you this week. Feel free to just speak it out loud into the room you sit in, or maybe keep it quiet to yourself, but just think of something that's inspired you. And let's bring that inspiration with us today. In that inspiration, welcome fire.
Music.
And to the west, we have water. That great, deep space of emotions. That west, where I am, where storms come from. Where the waters come and the rains that renew. Invite to bring our emotions today. Our joys and our sorrows. Maybe we have concerns, maybe we have hopes, but let's bring that all with us today. Let's bring that range of emotion with us. Into the westerly waters, I say welcome. And to the north, that solid world, earthy realm, the tangible. Maybe reach out and touch something. Maybe there's something alive you can teach. I got a little plant here I'm going to touch. Maybe there's something that keeps you alive. Maybe there's some food around or drink. Maybe there's something that keeps you comfortable or connected to the world around you. And just invite you to to touch it or just notice it. Look around and see the natural world around us. Sometimes it's living in the form of plants or animals. Other times it's processed in the form of maybe shelves or books. But the natural world surrounds us. And we say welcome to that natural world that keeps us alive and sustains us. Welcome, Earth. And to center, spirit, where it all comes together. I invite you to notice your center. I invite you to just bring your center here today. May the spirits join us for this time of renewal, this time of hope. And say, welcome, spirit, welcome, center.
Welcome, Spirit. Welcome, Center. And thank you, Charles. And taking a deep breath, I'd like to think about the spirit of the harvest. You know, there's so many different goddesses, gods, harvest figures around the world. Maybe just take a moment and let yourself think about how does your tradition, your ancestors, of the land that you're on, of the language that you speak, what are some of the ways the harvest has been honored? You know, I think about the old traditions of harvest home, feasting and celebration when the harvest is gathered in. I think about my Jewish ancestors celebrating with a sukkah, building a harvest booth, and it's open to the sky and air, and decorating it with the fruits of the harvest. I think about the harvest dolls that were made out of the last sheaf of wheat or barley. And let's just take a breath and welcome. Welcome to the spirit of the harvest. That great sense of relief and achievement that comes when we enjoy the fruits of our labor, when the grain is safe in the barn, when the weather can rain or can blow without destroying what we have worked so hard for. Blessed be. So this is in the Northern Hemisphere, the time for harvest. Maybe some of you are actually in the Southern Hemisphere, in which case it might be the time for planting and seeding. But in this ritual, we're going to be thinking about both, because I'm here in Northern California, land of the Kashaya Pomo. But here it is a time of harvest. There are many things that we are harvesting. The trees are turning color. You might be able to see it behind me, the beautiful golden color of the big leaf maples that we have here. The weather is cold and the days are short, but it's also the time when the rains come back, if we're lucky, and the land is renewed, the grass springs up again, and it's a time for planting. Planting perennials, planting bare root, planting all kinds of things, you know, cold weather crops like, you know, the broccolis and the kales and all the things that can grow in this cooler weather and that benefit from the rain and the rain returning. And it's like a miracle when the rain comes back. And this year we've been so very lucky. So we had a big rain at the end of September, and we had some other big rain in October. And while we can still use a lot more rain, It's meant that fire season ended early this year, and we escaped those horrible, devastating wildfires that are most devastating when they come in the fall, when everything's dry from a summer of no rain. So it's a time to think about renewal. And in the magical calendar, we've just passed Samhain. Samhain is the ancient Celtic festival of honoring the ancestors and honoring the dead. On the Latinx cultures, it's Dia de los Muertos, which comes right after on November 2nd. As the year gets colder and darker, it feels like a time when the veils are thin and the ancestors are close to us. And in Celtic tradition, it was the ending of the old year and the beginning of the new. So it's the new year. And a new year is always a good time for regeneration and renewal. So I want to just lead us into the ritual part and with a little bit of a meditation for you all on the harvest. And I invite you all to get comfortable. You may want to sit down and close your eyes. Some of you might want to stand up and dance your way through this. If you're the type of person that falls asleep in meditations, I recommend like standing up and moving through it. But if you would rather, it's also nice to just sit down, close your eyes, and feel like you're being told a story, because that's what it is. So let's just take a few deep breaths together. Breathing in and breathing out. And breathing in and breathing out. And breathing in and breathing out. As you take a breath, I'm going to sing you a little song. You can sing along, though I would ask you to mute just so we don't have too much chaos in the background. The words are, we are the power in everyone. We are the dance of the moon and sun. We are the hope that will not hide. We are the turning of the tide. We are the power in everyone. We are the dance of the moon and sun. We are the hope that will not hide. We are the turning of the tide. We are the power in everyone. We are the dance of the moon and sun. We are the hope that will not hide. We are the turning of the tide. We are the power in everyone. We are the dance of the moon and sun. We are the hope that will not hide. We are the turning of the tide. As you take a breath and you feel your breath flowing in and out like a tide, I'd like you to think back over your last year. You know, there's something Charles always says that I always find hopeful. You know, that when you think about the last week and what you've gotten done, it's easy to feel like you haven't done much and there's so much that you haven't gotten to. But if you think back over the last year, maybe you'll be amazed at how much you've really accomplished. And you know, for some of us, just what we've accomplished in the last year might simply be that we survived it. For some of us, there may be projects we've done, things we've created, relationships we've deepened, changes we've made, transitions we've gone through. But just take a breath and let yourself think back for you. Where have you put your focus and your energies? What have you planted, intended? What grew for you and what failed to thrive? And as you breathe, I'd like you to imagine yourself in an orchard. And that this past year is a great tree. Take a breath and see what it looks like for you. You might reach out, touch it, feel what the bark feels like. You might take a deep sniff into the air. Notice what you smell. You know, this is a magic orchard that exists beyond the boundaries of time, where fruit and bud and blossom can all be together at the same time on the tree. As you look around at that tree, just notice what fruit is there. What type of fruit is it? Are there some buds that didn't open? That happens. Are there some blossoms that maybe failed to set fruit? You know, nature does that. There are far more flowers than fruits. And that's a good thing. If every flower set fruit, there'd be far too much. It would crowd itself out. So take a breath, and maybe if there are things that, you know, you didn't finish, that didn't quite work out, that didn't turn into what you'd hoped, just take a breath and let them go now. Draw in some sunshine, some water. Forgive yourself. And look around and notice what did bear fruit. Were there maybe some things that you had to cull? You know, sometimes a tree will be way overcrowded with fruit and you just have to thin it. Are there things you knew you had to let go of? Places where your energy just was not really being well used, or where you just took on too much and had to put some of it off. And again, take a breath. Just acknowledge that is part of the process. It's what nature does. She sets a whole lot of apples and some of them drop early. And take a breath and look around now at what has come to fruition. You know, maybe some of it's not quite ripe yet. Maybe some of it needs a little more time to hang on the tree, to take in sunlight, to get sweet. You know, sometimes there are fruits like apples or persimmons that are really only their best after a frost. And sometimes our projects, our visions, our relationships are really only sweetest and strongest after we've had some adversity, had some conflicts that we could work through. So just take a breath again and acknowledge that's part of the fruiting, part of the ripening. But take a breath now and notice maybe there are some fruits that are really perfectly ripe. You can reach up and take in your hand. You can feel how they feel in your hand. You can bring them up to your nose, take a deep sniff in, smell, and feel the texture. And take a bite and taste the sweetness. And let yourself take it in and be deeply, deeply nourished. If there's any place in you that's tired from all of your efforts, it's feeling exhausted, that doesn't quite see how you're gonna marshal the energy for the next phase, just take a breath, take a bite, draw that in. And really allow yourself to take in and replenish and renew. And you know, when we have eaten the fruits, often what we're left with is a seed. So take a moment and notice if there is a seed for you. A seed for what comes next. If you take a breath and think about what you most hope for and long for yourself, for your community, for your world. If you long for that world of justice, of equity, of balance, for a world where nature is vibrant and thriving and healing, take a breath and know that you hold in your hand a seed of that world. A seed that contains within it a gift that you and you alone can bring to this world. That there is something you have within you that is unique, that is purely you, that is your gift to bring. And take a breath and know that you never have to compare that gift with somebody else's gift. You don't have to judge it as big or small. It is your piece of the work, your bit. And just take a breath and imagine what it would be like to plant that seed. To find the right spot. To think about what it needs, sun or shade, how much water, what type of soil, what type of compost. And take a breath and imagine putting your hands in the dirt, planting that seed deep. And knowing that when we plant those seeds together, planting a seed is an act of faith. And that faith in nature's powers of renewal and of nurturing, that faith itself is a power. And let's take a breath and imagine we can just all let out a breath together with all of our faith and all of our hope and send that out into the world like a wind that rises up and carries within it the seeds that can coalesce the rain. And feel them fly up, in the dust there are tiny little particles, little bacteria that become the nucleus of a raindrop, and our faith is like that little nucleus that rises up and up into the clouds and calls forth those little droplets of water. So the rain begins to rain down and down. Take a breath, imagine it just spilling over your body, nourishing your skin, spilling into the earth, nurturing those seeds that we planted, pooling under the earth, providing a reservoir of water, of hope, of renewal. Feel how the winds are moved by the sun and the tides are moved by the moon. And together they make the clouds that bring the rain. And let's sing to the rain and sing up our power to renew the earth. We are the power in everyone. We are the dance of the moon and sun. We are the hope that will not hide. We are the turning of the tide. We are the power in everyone. We are the dance of the moon and sun. We are the hope that will not hide. We are the turning of the tide. We are the power in everyone. We are the dance of the moon and sun. We are the hope that will not hide. We are the turning of the tide. We are the turning of the tide. We are the turning of the tide. And just take a breath. Feel your seeds begin to take root. And know that they will find their own timing to root, to sprout, and to grow. There are some seeds that need cold in order to sprout. There are some that need fire. There's some that need warmth and sunlight. So just take a breath and know that you can trust the timing of your seed. And that you can draw on the rain and those pools of water under the earth like a great well of replenishment for the energy you need to tend that seed and help it grow. And now let's take 3 deep breaths together, breathing in and out. As the drum fades away, breathe in. Bring back the memory of your journey. And out. And breathe in. And out. As you take a breath, feel the edges of your physical body. Maybe rub your hands together. Honor them as the seed planting organs we have. Say your name out loud, Starhawk. And that's the end of the story. So just take a moment, maybe let that settle. If there's anything that you want to specifically remember, you can jot it down. If there's anything that came up that you really want to share, you could put it in the chat. But we want to share with you some of our harvest. And a lot of our harvest is what some of our students are doing. We had hoped to have Afia Walking Tree here. I don't
Lori's
know.
here and willing to present on that project for a couple of minutes.
Great, because Afia is in Jamaica and the technology there sometimes is not always reliable. So we're going to let Lori tell you a little bit about the wonderful work that they've been doing.
Great, thank you. I'm Lori Lynn. I'm one of the many folks stewarding the vision of Solidarity Farms Jamaica into being. And much like that magical tree we just sat with, the organization is in many stages at once. It's in seed form and blossoming and fruiting and ripe and juicy, and reseeding itself as well. So very grateful to be in deep partnership with Earth Activist Training in really moving our vision and mission forward. So I'm happy to tell you about both of those things. At Solidarity Farms Jamaica, we're envisioning a really amazing future that's emotionally safe and inclusive, where BIPOC women and girls and LGBTQI plus folks are free from intersectional violence and its impacts, where home, land, food, and climate resilience are based on regenerative practices that honor indigeneity and is economically accessible and historical population. So that one packed full sentence, the farm is working really hard to meet our mission. We're disrupting institutionalized rape culture, racism, patriarchy by reframing our responses through indigenous, trauma-informed, embodied, and land-based practices like ritual, like farming, counseling, skill training, what Afia calls restorying, and somatic healing. We're prioritizing climate mitigation and adaptation strategies to combat climate devastations through models based in nature and ancestral wisdom. And we're re-educating through permaculture, IFA, Taino, and maroon cultural immersion with elders. So more than a farm, Solidarity Farms is a movement that's growing towards spiritual, emotional, and ecological liberation. The work that we are gaining, doing in partnership with Earth Activist Training is everywhere at Solidarity Farms Jamaica. The farm is a 12.5-acre parcel of land, home, that is in the St. Anne Parish of Jamaica. It's right along the White River, and permaculture is everywhere on the land. There's the rainwater collection for dishes and laundry. There's the worm bin in the bathroom, which gets fed when you wash your hands after you use the toilet, and the water trickles down through the plants that have the roots in the worms. And it's just this beautiful stacked system, which is right next door to the beginning of the humanure system, which involves a bucket with a toilet seat on it and some coffee chaff, and a space on the land where those buckets get dumped and cared for. The heat of the land takes pretty care of the humanure pretty quickly, and the compost. The compost. It is so moist and so warm there that compost turns very quickly, and so we have very rich soil in which to grow amazing food. There's coconuts and bananas and tomatoes, kale, cabbage, sorrel, peppers, pumpkin. They're all grown lavishly and organically in this beautiful space. And maybe one of the most exciting parts of the work to me is that the neighboring farmers who have been inculcated in this idea of chemical agriculture are watching and seeing how lavish the farm is, how productive it is, how big those cucumbers really are. And they're seeing and learning and starting to ask questions like, what are you doing? And Afia's been doing this work for several years now and has spent a lot of time speaking with mainly male farmers who are saying, you have to use the Ferti, you have to use the Ferti. And she's saying, no, I don't. I have my friend Lactobacillus. So through this diversity scholarship program, Earth Activist Training has supported 4 of our team members in becoming versed in the practices of permaculture, and just want to say thank you, and know that the support that you all are providing is valuable and cherished in Jamaica for the dozens of folks who are receiving the care and support of the farm, and the hundreds of people who are eating this amazing food that's being produced. So thank you for the opportunity to share about Solidarity Farms Jamaica. From our heart to yours. I just got a message from Afia who says she's still not able to get on, but sends her love and blessings.
Thank you, Laurie, and thank you, Afia. It's just one example, I guess, of our fruits of our diversity scholarship program, where we offer our trainings on a pay what you can basis for Black and Indigenous and people of color. And we especially love an opportunity like Solidarity Farms, where we can train up a bunch of people together so that you can reinforce each other's knowledge and support each other. We want to show you a little video reel that has, again, some more just a kind of sampling of we asked a bunch of our students and a bunch of the people who've benefited from the diversity scholarship program to just send us a quick little thing about what gives them hope. So, Charles, maybe you can put that up.
Okay, as I share this, some of the recordings are a little quiet, so you may have to turn your volume up if you can't hear it very well. But here we go.
And this recording is closed captioned, so it may be time to give our interpreter a bit of a rest. Hi, I'm Starhawk, and this is what's giving me hope right now. It looks like burned ground. It is burned ground. It's where we did a prescribed burn to bring back good fire to the land and help heal and regenerate the grasslands. And even though we haven't had rain for weeks, we had a good rain about 4 weeks ago, and you can see it's already starting to come back and to green up. I'm really looking forward to see how it regenerates.
Hi, Tanya, just sharing what gives me hope every day, besides nature and everything that springs forth from it. It's this little garden space that we transformed during and after the Permaculture design course in 2020.
I'm Sunshine Claymore from Standing Rock in the Dakotas, and I am working with the Mini-Wachoni Health Circle as a technical assistant for their Utecha land stewardship program. We are developing systems of managing our environment to access food and medicine as we share knowledge through multi-generations, and this gives me hope.
Peleándole la abundancia.
Chris Gilmore here from Chris Outdoors. So what gives me hope? Look at this. Look how beautiful that is. I saw a big bull moose this year. The turkey population and the deer seem to be really healthy right now. The geese look really good in their numbers flying south. There's a massive awakening right now on a mainstream scale of people recognizing how much nature is important and how we need to get back to that. And there's a massive awakening in the mainstream around the wrongs that have been done to Indigenous people, the wisdom that they hold. And although it's a bit of a painful journey as we work through it, at least the work's being done. And I'd like to give a shout out to Camium Indigenous Professional Services, an Anishinaabe-run organization doing amazing work on this front.
Hi there, my name is Ariel, and I am taking this video from Wasanich territory, and one thing that gives me hope these days are these beautiful worms creating compost 24/7 goodness in there, eating all my scraps, creating this beautiful biology of healthy soil, all the bugs and critters. And the other day I went to go give my plants a little bit of that fertilizer from my compost, and guess what happened? I grew my very own fall tomato plant from that compost. What love, what hope.
Hola, hola, les saludo desde la ciudad de Villahermosa, en el sur de México, uno de los lugares que ha sufrido el extractivismo petrolero y también un lugar en donde estamos empezando a hacer mucha resistencia con agrofloresta y buscando también compartir otros paradigmas. Lo que me da esperanza es la selva, son las semillas y es toda la red de la vida que nos acompaña en esta lucha. Luchamos por, con y para la vida.
Hello, my name is Dimas and this is my daughter. We are working on AXA Farm Academy and Tashkia Community Farm. We are doing micro farming here in the middle of the city. We try to integrate quail and earthworm farming. We distribute our quail manure and earthworm compost to regenerate agricultural land around us. And also we build a mini factory to recycle waste to become alternative livestock feed. This is our factory. And this is our farm worker here, and this is our quail farm. This is our girls here. This is our worms. This is our worms. This is our compost. This is our bee, stingless bee. Thank you for all of the global permaculture community. Thank you for our activists. Thank you for supporting us.
Taigwe, Nitu, Abure, Aleyo. Good afternoon, good evening, hello, buenas tardes, buenas noches. Mi nombre es Ana Lara. My name is Ana Lara, also known as Ana Nani Chitlahuicoat. And I come to you from Oregon, Kalapuya Ilihi, where I co-direct the organization called Boio Sibanani. We, in the last year, came into managing 10 acres of forest land here on our website. You can see a picture of our beautiful coniferous forest. And this space is dedicated to supporting the sovereignty and the regeneration of indigenous, Black, and migrant communities of color here in the Northwest, Pacific Northwest of the United States. And, to the question of what makes me feel hopeful, walking around the land and imagining families and communities coming together, intergenerational exchange and dialogue, in the context of permaculture really makes me feel hopeful. And I'm just so glad and grateful actually that Starhawk and Charles and all the folks at Earth Activists have made it possible for me to learn and to develop my knowledge as a land steward. So it is with a lot of joy in my heart that I share these words and I tell you about this project and all of the wonderful ways in which working with Earth Activists has allowed me to imagine the stewardship of this land, not only during my lifetime, but 100 years into the future. Seneca Kakona, thank you, gracias. Tlasokamati.
Hi, my name is Lori Heath, and I'm reaching out to you from St. John's, Newfoundland, Canada, talking cook of the Mi'kmaq and the unceded territory of the Beothuk. A project that gives me hope is the permaculture demonstration site that I'm currently working on with Common Ground Community Development that features a year-round greenhouse, a year-round vegetable garden, as well as a forest garden demonstration site.
Sowing the Future, Women Farmers and Eco-Agriculture is an arts project about women farmers in the Ottawa region. It features 8 women farmers seen through painted portraits, photos of their farming practice, and poetry. Our first exhibition was held in October and was attended by several hundred people. We also held a panel where some of the women farmers talked about their experiences during the challenging 2022 growing season and how we can strengthen food sovereignty in our region. This project gives me hope because it is helping people in my community see, through an artistic lens, the hard work that women farmers do and has helped them understand the importance of feminine solidarity in the struggle for sustainable farming.
Hi, I'm Monica Sky. I'm working on self-care rituals with elements of pagan ritual, 5 rhythms dance, massage, clown, and inner relationship focusing. It's free, it's online, you are invited, and this gives me hope.
Greetings, Earth activist community. I'm Delvin Solkinson, and I love meeting more of you. Our connection inspires my spirit and gives me hope for the future.
Peace. My name is Ananda, and what gives me hope is us doing the joyful labor of food forestry and food activism.
Hi, So thank you. Thank you, everybody who has contributed to that. I have to say myself, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, wow, I didn't even know some of these things are fruits of our labor, and that does give me hope. You know, this whole ritual, everything you've donated to the ritual will go to contributing to our diversity scholarships, and we can always use more. So if you have a few more pennies in your pocket that you want to get rid of, or you have a little extra money, or you're looking for your end of the year donations, we would love to have some of that to help us spread this even further. So Charles is going to put in the chat our website and our donate page, earthactivisttraining.org. We are going to be doing some in-person courses coming up this year, again, out here in Cazadero in Western Sonoma County, a permaculture design course. In January, we also have a longer term training course in regenerative land management that will be starting up again this spring. We have a restoration intensive coming up that is a chance to come out here in the woods and just immerse yourself in hands-on projects of forestry and animals with our cows and goats and sheep and pigs and chickens and ducks and dogs. And we really would love to be able to provide a lot of diversity scholarships for those programs. It's much more expensive to do that than for our online programs. And we do have a lot of online programs coming up, and you can see in the chat a little bit about what they all are. Chris Gilmore, who is in there, teaches with us. Sunshine Claymore is teaching with us. And we're really excited about being able to grow our permaculture school and programs. And as the world opens up again, be able to go visit some of these projects and connect in person, as we've been connecting online for the last 2 years. I, in particular, am eager to go visit that project in Jamaica. So thank you so much. We have about reached the end of our time now, but I want to say a big thank you to everybody who contributed. And, you know, everyone who contributed to that video, to Lori Lynn for helping us know something about the amazing project in Jamaica. For Afia, I hope you get your connection again and your hand gets better. To Sunshine for that beautiful land acknowledgement and all the work that you do. To Elizabeth Cole, who edited together that beautiful video and closed captioned it. To Amber Raleigh, who's been our amazing, intrepid interpreter for this session. And it's important to us to be able to make things accessible to people of all different cultures and abilities and backgrounds, and that's part of why we do this work. To our Whole Earth Activist team, Mariah, who does so much of the behind the scenes work, and Charles, can't say enough about how much Charles does. Not only is he a brilliant and entertaining teacher, but he's the Virgo that keeps track of everything in our organization and does so much work behind the scenes that you wouldn't believe it. Charles, do you want to thank the elements and open our circle?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the elements with all you, if you join me, and thanking the elements, to Spirit and Center. Thank you. To Earth, those things that keep us alive, tend us, and care for us. To water, the deep emotions, sometimes rocky, sometimes smooth, but always there. To fire, the inspiration, our joys, our creativity. To air, those things that begin anew, our inspiration, conspiring together, the breath of life. To the elements, they say hail and farewell. Thank you.
Our circle now is open but unbroken. And we always like to say merry meet and merry part and merry meet again. And we hope to merry meet some of you. We encourage you also to come take one of our courses online or in person. I know there were a couple of questions that came up. And one was, what can you do if you don't have a lot of physical capacity or you're older, retired, to heal the earth? And I just want to say, you can do a lot by what you support, by the food that you buy, the choices you make, by supporting programs like ours, by how you treat your own, if you have a little bit of land, your own garden, with making your own compost, recycling your own waste products, all of that. All of those are ways that you can make an impact. And by, again, supporting some of the work that people are doing all over the world, to me, I find it really hopeful that all over the world, people are part of a great team of earth regeneration. I know there's another question about how does magic inform my work? And for me, magic is the process really of creating a vision and putting energy into it. And that's very similar to permaculture. We call it design in permaculture. But for us, all of this work that we do is about creating a vision of a world of justice and healing and compassion for humans and also for all the community of earth beings. So that is our mission, and we are grateful to all of you for supporting it and being part of it. We're all connected, and that is the underlying link between permaculture, between earth-based spirituality, between everything we do, is understanding we are all interconnected and all part of the same thing.